Good morning, everyone. A warm and a pleasant morning to one and all. On behalf of Department of Information Technology, Dr.M.G.R. Education and Research Institute, I warmly welcome all our dignitaries, resource persons, faculty members, participants, and everyone joining us live on YouTube to the webinar on assessment tools and COPO mapping. We are delighted to have you all with us today, and we hope the session will be informative and enriching for everyone. To begin today's webinar, I request Dr. N. Kanya, Dean of Students Affairs and Professor and Head of Department of Information Technology, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Buma. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Happy to welcome you all to the webinar on assessment tools and COPO mapping. I'm happy to welcome today's speaker, Dr. Jayanti ma'am. She's a professor in Department of ECE in Rajlakshmi Engineering College. We are happy to have you here, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. I'm happy to welcome all the participants who is joining us through the online portal. Welcome you all to this webinar on this given topic. Kindly maintain the ethic of online learning. Attend the full session and give your feedback. On this occasion, I like to thank our management, our Chancellor, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam sir, and our President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, for their continuous support and encouragement for hosting this kind of event in successful way. Once again, I thank the coordinators of the event, Dr. Dharani and Dr. Mrs. Professor
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm and inspiring words. Now, I introduce today's chief guest and resource person. I invite Miss Drishya Darwin.
Is I am audible? Good morning, everyone. Good
Yes,
morning to
ma'am.
all. Is I am audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
Good morning to all. It's my privilege and honor to introduce our esteemed speaker for today's webinar on assessment tool and COPO mapping organized by Department of Information Technology in association with Cyber Physical Systems. We are delighted to welcome Dr. D. Jayanti, Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Rajalakshmi Engineering College, Chennai. Dr. Jayanti is a distinguished academician with over 25 years of teaching experience and 3 years of industrial experience, specializing in VLSI design, system on chip design, and low power IC design. She holds a PhD in Information and Communication Engineering from Anna University and has made significant contributions to engineering education through her dedication to teaching, research, and academic leadership. Her accomplishments include international conference publications, two published patents, and she is the recipient of the Best Researcher Award 2023 for her outstanding contributions to research and higher education. Today, she will be delivering a session on assessment tool and COPO mapping, an important component of outcome-based education that focuses on measuring and achieving program outcomes effectively. On behalf of Department of Information Technology and the Center of Excellence in Cyber Physical Systems, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Jayanti and look forward to an inspiring session. Welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for your warm welcome, madam. Thank you to the Department of Information and Technology, HOD madam, Dr. Kanya Varadan, and the faculty members of MGR Educational and Research Institute for inviting me to the part of this webinar. So it's my pleasure to interact with you people for the today's session, assessment tool and COPO mapping. So over the past few days, you have explored the fundamental of outcome-based education, curriculum design, AI-enabled teaching curriculum mapping. So today, we all focus on the final but the most important component of OBE, the assessment tool and the COPO mapping. Ma'am, if you don't mind, can you permit me to share my video? Actually, some confusion is here in this sharing video. Shall it take at least 2 minutes, please? Let me take my PPT, madam. This one is a little bit
Yes,
problem,
ma'am.
so let me share my PPT. It will take only 2 minutes, please, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes.
We are delighted to have you all with us today and kick off the session pleasant journey to one and all on behalf of Department of Information Technology, Dr. M.G.R. Education and Research Institute. I warmly welcome all our resource persons, participants, and everyone joining us live on YouTube, the webinar on assessment tools and COPO mapping. We are delighted to have you with us today and we hope the session will be informative and enriching for everyone. To begin today's webinar, I request.
Sorry, ma'am. Technical, some small issue is there. Let me check once, please.
ఏంటి మ్యామ్?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
PPT மட்டும் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க.
1 minute, ma'am.
ஓகே
Sorry
மேம்.
for the disturbance. No, actually, the file got corrupted, ma'am. I couldn't find the slide of my. Sorry. Sorry for
ஓகே.
the delay. Inconvenience made by me, please.
ஓகே மேம். ஓகே. ஓகே மேம்.
Is my screen visible, ma'am? Now?
Yes, yes. You can go ahead,
Yes.
ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your patience.
Okay.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Made by me one more time. I'm requesting you. Yeah, today's session we are going to see about that assessment tool and COPO mapping. And based on this outcome-based education, the basic terminologies we should understand. So that we should start with the basic terminology of this OBE is CO, that is course outcomes, then PO, the program outcomes, then PSO, program specific outcomes, and also program educational outcomes. So COs, these are all the major terminologies we used to see for any kind of the assessments for NBA or NAC or any accreditation where we are going to make it. So these four things are most important. So based on this only, we can standardize our engineering education system. So COS says about that focus on learning within a course. So what are all the programs we are going to offer? That I mean the course. What do we have? So how can the students can gain knowledge based on the offered courses in our curriculum? And the case for this program outcomes defines the graduate attributes expected at the time of graduation. So, in the time of the graduation, how much the students can gain from their programs what they learned. The case for the PSO is a program specific outcome, emphasis discipline specific expertise. So particularly for the particular, the specialization of the subjects, what they are more interested. So students can enhance their knowledge based on the specific, the program, the course. So that this is what this PSO is going to be, enhance the education systems. And the concept of PEO is a program educational outcomes. So it describes the professional accomplishment expected a few years after the graduation. Like if the graduate, the person, the engineer after learn the gain the the degree after 3 to 4 years, how they are going to implement the entire things into their regular activities. So this is what this basic four terminologies talks about. Let me see one by one about this course outcomes. The first terminology, CO, right? So the CO, the course outcome, is a statement that clearly describes the what students are expected to know, understand, or able to perform after successfully completing a particular course. An example we can say, we can take one subject is a BLSI design. From the course, one particular topic has been taken. So design and analyze the CMOS combinational sequential circuit using a standard design principles. So what they're going to learn from the about this topic. So based on this, what students can gain from this analysis part, how this course outcome is going to be follow for the particular topic, means how the students are going to be perform or they learn from the particular CMOS combinational or sequential circuits, and with the experimental level as well as the theory part, the designing part. How can we form the combinational circuits based on this metal oxide semiconductor. So students can gain their knowledge based on the theory part as well as the practical involvement from their laboratory, so that they'll be very good master in this CMOS combination and sequential circuits. So the COs are assessed using a different evaluation method, so that the students can able to gain the knowledge based on this particular specific topic, right? Okay, so this is what the evaluation part also there. So from the course outcome, what they learned from this course studies, through which the faculty also can able to analyze analyze their their skills based on the assessment activities. Okay, so this course outcome is going to support for the evaluation methodology. Some few methodologies what we have in our curriculum or the activities is internal assessment test. We used to have our cat 1, cat 2, like that one, right? So assessment assignments also there, so we used to give some assignments based on the activities what they have from their course, the CMOS combinational circuits and sequential, the current publications or the current trend, what do we have from the semiconductor industry. So the assignments also we can able to focus on them, so we can able to evaluate the students performances, and the tutorials we can give. So the activities and laboratory experiments, the mini projects we can give them, some small projects like the beginning level, because the UG level students need to understand the basics, so that the mini projects also we can give, like this how this CMOS combinational or a digital circuit will support to lift the elevator. Okay, so the small kind of projects we can able to give under this CO, analyze all these things. And seminars we can give, seminars like the topics, the current trend, the industry, recent semiconductor industry, developments. What is the current trend under this semiconductor industry? What our India, that is our nation, established some foundry. So how can we, develop ourselves based on the, based on the how we are going to improvise in the hardware engineers also. So all these things we can able to give them a seminars or the presentation aspect, so that they can also gain more knowledge. And also case studies, what are all the scenario is going on under this particular VLSI design. So in that concepts also we can, the students can learn something. So end semester examination is most important. So with that only we can able to calculate, evaluate the entire study what they had from the entire semester, so that they can also gain some marks, through which the evaluation process is going to be support for this course outcome system. Let me move to the next slide. The second terminology is program outcomes, that is abbreviated as PO. So POs are knowledge, skills, and attitude that students are expected to possess by the time they graduate from a program. Okay. So what they learn, the knowledge, what they gain, the knowledge or skills or the attitude, how they did. So they define the competencies graduates should achieve at the end of the program. So end of this program, so that the end of this program only they can able to understand. So that they can, how they gain from this engineering knowledge or the design and development of engineering solutions. So investigation of complex engineering problems, modern tool usages, what they learn from this course. So how they are going to, what to say, they will post to the end of this degree what they are going to gain. So they will tune to the modern tool usages also. So the professional ethics they can understand, and environment and sustainability also they are going to involve. Then the project management, how they are going to do it. Then lifelong learning, how they are going to perform after gaining the graduation. Okay, so these are all the program outcomes we need to understand, so that it will develop the students knowledge and skills and attitude. These three the terminologies are most important under this program outcomes. And let me come to the third point. The major terminology is program educational objectives, that is PEO. So it's described the broad career achievements and the professional accomplishments expected from the graduates within 3 to 4 years or 5 years after the graduation, what they gain. And the evaluation, so it's developed, the PEO developed based on the stakeholders like the employers, alumni, and the faculty members, students and parents, or industry experts are all together combined, and then they will support to form this program educational objective. So faculty alone cannot support this forming a program educational objective. So what we need to understand is the stakeholders are most important. to develop this program educational objective. So graduates becoming a successful engineers in industry. So in what way na? The pursuing higher education or a research. Through this pursuing of higher education or the research what they are involving, also the graduates become successful engineers within the couple of years to the 5 years duration. And also becoming an entrepreneur, they can also start their business and also involve, implement what they learn from the basics, the course outcomes and the program outcomes, so that they are able to becoming an entrepreneur. So taking a leadership positions too within this 5 years, and contributing ethically to the society. So ethically, what is the need of this current environment, like that AI and ML also involving in our, in our domain. So the contribution ethically to the society. What is the needs, the reliability? They need to, understand and work accordingly. So engaging in lifelong the learning and professional developments also they are going to involve. So all these factors are going to be measured by these stakeholders for developing a program educational objectives. So the finally the fourth terminology here is program specific outcomes. So the it's said to be a PSO, a specific domain will be there. So the PSO defines the specialized technical knowledge and practical competences expected from graduates of the specific program. Supposed to be, we can have this ECE department, electronics and communication department, have the various kind of specializations, like VLSI design, embedded system, communication engineering, digital signal processing, Internet of Things, or artificial intelligence and application in electronics. All this specification of the specialization of the a particular department. So what they are going to, define. So this PSO defines a specialized in the technical knowledge for the particular domain. So all these four terminologies are most important about this OB for developing the OBE system. Okay. Yes. Booma ma'am. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am.
The
Hello, ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Can I switch off my video, please?
Yes, ma'am. Whether you want to turn off the video.
Yes, ma'am. Turn off the video, ma'am, because my network challenges are there, ma'am. Sometimes
Okay,
it
okay.
may go up, sometimes it may go low. So,
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Yeah, sure. Will do.
yes, ma'am. 1 minute, ma'am. Video is still on only, no, ma'am. How to switch it off, ma'am? Turn off this video. Roma, ma'am, can you support me, please? Yes, got it, ma'am.
Are you comfortable, ma'am?
1 minute, ma'am, please. All the files I opened, some file got corrupted, so yes, yes,
Okay,
sorry.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Take your time, ma'am.
No issues, ma'am. No issues, ma'am. I'm coming now. So I hope I'm sharing my PDF. PPT.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
1 minute, ma'am. So this program outcomes and the specific program outcomes
Ma'am, can you
from
please
this,
share your PPT, ma'am?
ma'am. I already shared. It's not visible, ma'am.
Ma'am,
No,
not
ma'am.
yet shared, ma'am.
1 minute, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Um, yes, ma'am. Is it fine now?
Ma'am, again, I
Ma'am,
can't share it properly, ma'am. It is taking delay.
are you getting my PPT, ma'am, or it's not
No, no,
reflected?
I'm not seeing the PPT.
No, still no. Huh? Okay, okay.
Ah, yes, ma'am.
1 minute. Boma, ma'am, are you getting now? Is this fine for you, ma'am?
Ah, yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, ma'am. You can go
Thank
ahead.
you. So all this relationship can be summarized here. That is, the course outcomes will leads to gives us 1 minute. So the course outcomes will leads to gives us the program outcomes. So through this program outcomes, we can go with the PSOs and finally the program educational objectives. So this flow clearly shows how the classroom teaching supports the long-term professional success of the graduates. Yes. So let me move to the next slide. So this is a few definition we should understand about this calculation factor. So for the coming slides, we are going to see for that the mapping factor and the level of attainments are the most important. So the mapping factor answers the question how strongly or to the two outcomes related. Then level of attainment answers the question how well have the students achieved those outcomes. So the one measures the relationship while the other measures, one the mapping factor will measures the relationship and the other measure the achievements. Let me see the first part is the mapping factor, that is the correlation level. It indicates to what extent a certain component, either the assessment method or method to CO, course outcome, or course outcome to PO, program outcome, or program outcome to program PEO as well, PO to PSO also. So here, for example, so it may represent the relationship between an assessment question and a course outcome. So in mapping will tells us how much one component contributes to another, right? So the mapping will tell us how much the one component contributes to another. So think of a bridge connecting different levels of OBE framework here. So without proper mapping, so we cannot actually determine whether our courses are contributing to the overall objectives of the engineering programs. So the high correlation mapping will be considered as a three. Three indicates substantial high mapping, so high contribution towards the attainments here. This means that the course outcomes contributes significantly toward achieving the corresponding program outcomes. Supposed to be, we'll have the same example from the VLSI design course. So the course outcome states that design a CMOS combination and sequential circuit. So this directly develops a student's engineering knowledge and design skills. Therefore, it has a strong relationship with the program outcomes related to the engineering knowledge and the design. So we assign a mapping value as 3. So in that way, so if you succeed, the 3 value is going to be indicated here, right? The mapping value of 2 indicates the moderate correlation. Here, the course outcomes contributes to the program outcome, but not as strongly. For the instance, so while designing a CMOS circuit, students may also improve teamwork or the communication through a group laboratory activities. So, however, the communication is not a primary objective of the course, therefore, the correlation is considered moderate and we assign a value as 2. That is the case for the low correlation mapping value of 1 indicates slight or mapping some contribution towards the attainment, means the course outcome contributes only slightly to the program outcomes. For example, a technical theory course may indirectly improve proper management skills since the project management is not major focus of the course. So the relationship is weak. The relationship is weak here. Hence, the mapping value of 1 is assigned. So, no correlation map also there, right? That is no meaningful relationship between a course outcomes and the program outcomes. We assign a value as 0 and simply leave the cell blank as COPO mapping in the matrix. COPO mapping matrix. So this prevents unnecessarily or artificial mapping and ensures mapping remains meaningful and the evidence based. So faculty members should avoid the assigning values just to fill the matrix. For defining the zeros, the no meaningful relationship is no correlation under the mapping factor, the fourth one. So why mapping is important? So you may ask, why do we spend so much time on mapping? So the answer is simple here. If the mapping is incorrect, the entire COPO attainment calculations becomes inaccurate. So therefore, the proper mapping ensures that every course outcome supports the program objective. The curriculum is aligned with NBA requirements or the which accreditation we are following in, and the attainment calculations are meaningful here, and the curriculum gaps can be identified for continuous improvements. So these are all the most important here. Coming to the point, part 2, the level of attainment. So this is just discretization of the percent of attainment. To not get confused with mapping factor, will indicate this by a labels as a HH means 3, that is high level of attainment, MM of 2, that is a medium level of attainment, LL means low level of attainment. Here also we have NA, that is no NA of 0, that is no attainment. So now let us move to this. Move this in the. The concept of the level of attainment is calculated from the student's actual performance. What they are going to do it. So it answers an important questions here. Have our students achieved the expected learning outcome or not? The attainment level is determined using the assessment results such as internal assessment test. How we are going to evaluate all these things are most important. No? So the internal assessment tests are also considered, assignments considered, laboratory experiments considered, mini projects, presentation as well, end semester examination. So the better the students perform, the higher the attainment level will be there. Level of attainment is more. So that here also we have the high level attainment HH, that is 3. High means 3. Sorry. It means that the large percentage of students have successfully achieved the expected learning outcomes, right? So this reflects the effective teaching and good students' understanding and also the successful learning. Next part is the medium level of attainment. So MM of 2, the second category MM represents by the value 2. This indicates the medium level of attainment. So students have the achievements, the outcome reasonably well, but there is still room for an improvement. So faculty may identify weaker topics and introduce the remedial classes, right? So who are lagging in the subject, the concepts and the designs or the problem solving. So they need to conduct some remedial classes, tutorials or additional practice sessions. Then only the students can come up. So the third category here is low level attainment defined by LL of 1. So the third category, only a small percentage of students have achieved a desired outcome. Okay, out of huge. the strength. Only a small percentage of students have achieved the defined outcome. So this suggests the corrective actions are necessary for the class. So possible reasons include that the difficult assessment questions, insufficient practice, ineffective teaching strategies, or inadequate knowledge. So all these faculty should analyze the reasons and the plan improvement actions for the next academic cycle for this. Then only they can overcome by this low level attainment. The particular percentage of students will get or gain improvise themselves for the evaluation systems. And no attainment, NA of 0, there is no attainment. So finally, NA represents the 0, means the no attainment. So this indicates that the expected outcome has not been achieved to the insufficient assessment evidence to evaluate the outcome. So such situations require immediate review and the corrective actions, right? So some differences also there, some differences between the mapping factor and the level attainment. It indicates the strength of the relationship between outcomes, indicates how well students are achieved based on these two factors, that is mapping and level of attainment. The case for the mapping factors are decided by the faculty during the curriculum planning. So the mapping factor always decided by the faculty during the curriculum planning, whereas the case for level of attainment is calculated from students' assessment results. Right? The difference. And the case for mapping factor remains relatively stable unless the curriculum changes here. Right? Whereas the case for the level of attainment changes every semester based on the students' performances. So next, the mapping factor. Under the mapping factor, we should understand the mapping factor used in COPO, the relationship COPSO as PO's PEO mapping. Whereas the case for level of attainment used to evaluate CO, PO, PSO, and PEO attainments. So what we need to conclude from this slide, so both mapping factor and level of attainments are the fundamental components of the outcome-based education systems. So the mapping factor ensures that every course is meaningfully connected to the program outcomes and educational objectives, while the level of attainment measures how effectively students have achieved those intended outcomes through the assessment process. So together, these concepts provide a scientific and evidence-based approach to evaluating a student's learning, measuring program effectiveness, supporting for the NBA accreditation and driving continuous quality improvements, all these things. Yes. Let me go for the calculation part. So what we are seeing from the slide, and one more thing we need to understand this level of attainment. So the level of attainment performance indicator used to measure how successfully students have achieved the target marks in a particular assessment. So this makes it easier to compare the results and evaluate the course outcome achievements. The who decide the attainment levels here means the attainment scale is decided by the program coordinator or head of the departments. So these additional points should be added with this level attainment. Let me move to the next slide. The COPO mapping. So it consisting of, so already we have come across so many, presentations. So as we know that the program outcomes we need to follow 12, and course outcomes. Course outcomes. How many we need to follow, ma'am? May I know? For as per your university, count for the CO. PO, normally we are the autonomous body, so we used to follow 12. The course outcomes here 5. I hope the same is following in your institution also. Yes. So let me move to this level of attainment. The calculation is a little bit, we need to understand based on the high level and the H and medium level as well the low level. Sometimes the no attainment is considered as a hyphen or 0. That we'll calculate later. Let me move to the next slide. So the level of attainment, the scale of levels can be defined by a program coordinator or head of the department. So here the three levels of attainment is taken as 1 low, 2 medium, 3 high. Three levels of attainment can be defined by that is HH. 70 percentage of students scoring more than average marks or set target marks in an assessment method, or the MM3, 60 percentage of the students scoring the more than average marks or set target marks in an assessment method. The third category is low level, that is LL of 1, 50 percentage of students scoring more than average marks or set target marks in an assessment method. Then no attainment, N of 0, so less than 50 percentage of students scoring more than the average marks or set target marks in an assessment method. So this level of attainment, the slide explains how the course outcomes attainment is calculated and how the attainment levels can be improved over the year. The main objective, to measure whether the students have successfully achieved the course outcomes or not. So if the target is achieved, if the majority of the students meet the target marks, then the course outcomes is considered attained. For example, the target mark is 30 out of 50. So the total students are 100. So students scoring 30 and 30 or above is equal to supposed to be 82 out of 100. So how can we calculate this attainment percentage? Means the number of students, how much they scored, more than 80 into 100 by 100, that is 82 percentage, the percentage calculations. This means that the CO, the course outcome, is successfully achieved. So the department can increase the target in the next academic year as a part of the continuous quality improvement. Right? If many students are scoring very good marks, they are falling. I mean, they are in HH3. Then the department should take some decision, right? So the next academic year, how they are going to improvise from the 82 percentage to 84 at least, like that way. So the five level attainment scales also consider. So when the institution want more detailed evaluation, they use the five level scaling. So instead of three level scaling. So three levels means the HH of 3, MM of 2, LL of 1. This slide, the MM of 2 only. So it's going to be extend up to the level of 5. So what we need to have means HH is going to be split into 5 and 4. That means H high, H medium. So M medium, M low. Then LL, and that is low. In that way also we can split from this 3 levels to 5 levels. So no attainment is a default thing. Okay. So in that way also we can able to split. That is what the course outcome calculations. See, H high, HM, M maximum, then low, then L of 1, then NA of 0. Right? So if the targets are achieved, then all the courses, I mean course outcomes are attained for that year. Program is expected to set higher target to the following years as part of the continuous improvement. So also if the scale of 3 levels is used in 1 year, and if the higher level is attained, then scale of 5 levels can be used following years. The scale of 5 level may be defined in this way, so that HH of 5 is 80 percentage of students scoring more than average marks, or set target marks in an assessment method, or 70 percentage of students scoring more than average marks. Okay, so that is HM of 4, that is 70 percentage, supposed to be MM of 3, 60 percentage of students scoring more than average marks, then comes under this. Then ML of 2, 50 percentage of students scoring more than average marks or set target marks in an assessment method. LL of 1 is 40 percentage of students scoring more than an average marks or set target marks in an assessment method. So no attainment of 0, that is less than 40 students scoring more than average marks. So set target marks in an assessment method. If the targets are not achieved, then instead of lowering targets, the program should put in a place an action plan to attain the target in subsequent years. So this slides explain how the course outcome attainment is calculated If students achieve the target marks, the course outcome is considered attained. Institutions may use the 5 level scaling ranging from H to NA of 0. So, based on the percentage of the students meeting the target, if the target is achieved consistently, the higher targets can be set in future years for the continuous improvements. If it is not achieved, so instead of lowering the target, so the department should implement the corrective actions such as remedial classes, better teaching methodology, and additional assessments to improve the students' performance. Let me move to the slide. Target setting for each assessment method. So for setting up the target average marks of the last three exams must be taken into consideration, and it should be kept as target average marks. The first point says that the average marks on the last three examinations should be considered while fixing the target to ensure that the target is realistic based on the actual students' performance, consistent over the years. Right? Example. So we'll have average marks of three last 3 years, and the end exams out of 100 are supposed to be 2023 62, 2024 58, 2025 is 60. Average target here is going to be, added all 3 years and divided by 3. So what we get the average is 60. So the target mark for the current batch is fixed at 60. Okay. Yes. So if previous data is unavailable, sometimes the course is introduced for the first time. So the previous exam records are not available. In that case, the department can use the current batch average marks as the target. Example, a new course has been introduced. So current students write the first exam. Average marks obtained 54 out of 100. So since there is no previous data, so that we can have the target mark as 54. Yes. So this is the first case, right? Coming to this, the different assessments have the different target here supposed to be. Every assessment method has its own target because each evaluates different skills, right? So the assignment marks we have class test, that is cat exam marks, we have practical exams, we have end exam marks, we have. So each and every assessment or the evaluation factors assigned with the different marks. Suppose with the assignment marks is given as 20 out of 20, how much students has, scored 20, 12 out of 20 or 13 out of 20, like that. Likewise, class test may be defined for 30 marks for the cat 1 or cat 2, the class test 1 or class test 2, 30 marks. How much students score? That is 18 out of 30 or 20 out of 30, like that. The practical examination also same, the 50 out of 50, how much they scored as 30 or 40. So in the examination, marks defined as 100, out of which how much they scored, either 60 or 70, like that. So each assessment contributes separately to measuring the course outcomes. The last three exams should always be considered, even if the course is offered both odd or even odd and even semesters too, both for the particular year. So under CBCS, that is choice-based credit system, the target should always be calculated using a average of the last three examinations. So this avoids the fixing target that are too high or too low, right? So the complement that example says that subject supposed to be the subject has the following assessment. Only the particular assessment means that assignment is only 14 out of 20. The average calculated based on the assignments 1 and 2. So this is explained by this, the third point. This would be different for each assessment method, like internal assessment, assignment 1, you may have assignment 2, you have class test 1, 2, etc. So external assessment, end exam mark or university exam or practical external marks in that point. Okay. So the now in this score, just assume that the score is 80 out of 100 students scored 61 or more in the end exams. So the attainment percentage we need to calculate as 80. See, 80 out of 100 students score 61 marks. Okay, so what we need to do is The fraction is going to be, calculated like 80 divided by 100 into 100 percentage, so that 80 percentage, right? Therefore, the target is going to be achieved, that is equalized. So the course outcome attainment is high now, high, right? Why this target is setting important here? So it provides the benchmarks to measure the students' performance. So makes that CO attainment fair and objective. Uses the previous year's performance instead of guess the work. They support the continuous improvement in teaching and the learning process. Therefore, this slide explains how target marks are determined for each assessment method. The target is usually based on the average marks of the previous three examinations, right? The assessment or class test or the external end exam or the university exam or practical exams and so on. So ensuring that it is in a realistic and a consistent way, we are going to evaluate. So if the previous data is unavailable, right, the current batch average marks can be used. So different assessments such as the assignments and the class test, the practicals and the exams are separate target marks because they assess different learning outcomes. Once these targets are set, the students' performance is compared against them to calculate the course outcome attainments. Let me move to the next slide, the mapping of CO with assessment methods. The purpose of this course, this course outcomes, main purpose of course outcome calculation is measure how effectively students have achieved the intended learning outcomes of the course. So these results helps us evaluate students' learning performance, identify their strengths and weakness, improve the teaching strategy, and also set the higher goals for future academic years too. Right? So when the target is achieved, if the predefined target is successfully achieved, then we consider that the course outcome has been attained. The program should raise the target for the following academic year. This supports the philosophy of continuous improvements, where the performance students the gradually increased rather than the remaining the constants. Okay, so the presentation statement says that whenever the students successfully achieving the target, we do not stop there. Instead, we increase the benchmark for the next year so that academic quality also going to be increased. The third level, the current year, supposed to be initially, the institution may use a simple three-level attainment scale, low, medium, or high. So this provides the basic measurement of the student's achievement. So, and 5 level also we can go. We can go with the HH of 5, HM of 4, NMM of 3, ML of 2, or LL of 1, or no, attainment, not achieved, or NA of 0. So all these 5 scalings also we can extend if the target has been achieved for the present year. The next year we can extend up to the 5 level marking. So the institution should not simply lower the target here. That is the consistency should be there. The growth will be there. That is what the NBA team also expecting from us. So we need to improvise further. Even though we got that highest target, then we need to go further. That is what the classification is going to be changed from 3 to 5 classes. So instead it should develop the action plan such as instead the institution should not simply lower the target so that they need to improvise. So action plan should be there. The action plans, what we can do is the revising the teaching methods, right? Revising the teaching methods. So the teaching aids, what we are doing, the gadgets, what we are having, all these things we can change. Then means that learners should always consider even many of us studied from the gain knowledge from the pedagogy training. So the observer can be classified in 3 category. The person can easy to understand while we are teaching. Another person can understand only the Montessori type. So they should do some. They have to visualize something, The third category, they should do some projects through which they can gain their knowledge, that kind of thing. So that the revising the teaching methodology also we need to consider. So that is considered or comes under the action plan. Means they should not simply lower the target. The institution should not be in the same lower level of the targets. So they need to develop a action plans based on the first criteria is revising teaching method. The second category is providing a remedial classes that we are following in every institution. So next is the conducting additional tutorials through which they can also improvise. The next part is improving the assessment method. What do we have? Generally, if you have CAT exams, then we can also personally call the lower level of, low marks who are all got the lowest marks in the CAT 1 exam, so that we can give additional support to them through the remedial class or the improving the assessment methodology. We can take care of the poor students and updating the course material what we are giving. So we have to upgrade ourselves to give the course materials to it. These are all the active action plans. Giving more practice assignments and also offering students mentoring. Okay, mentoring will consider all these things, the counseling part, then how where they are lagging, in what situation they are being in. So where they are like either in the physically problems are there or something. So we should do that things also. Least option. So rather than reducing the expectations, we identify the reasons for a poor performance and implement the corrective actions to help the students to achieve the target in the future semesters too. To semester. Yes. So the target achieved, the course outcome attains, the increase the future targets for continuous improvement. The target not achieved, they prepare an action plan instead of lowering standards. Right? The 5 levels attainments scales from HH to NA to provide the detailed measure of the student's performance and supports the quality assurance. Sorry. So, therefore, the course outcomes calculation is not only a tool for measuring a student's performance, but also here the mechanism for continuous academic improvement. We should understand this point. This is most important. From the slide we are seeing here, it helps the institutions maintain the educational quality by evaluating the learning outcomes. So, identifying areas for enhancement and implementing appropriate corrective actions. Right? So, this is what this slide talks about. Let me move to the next slide. Justification of mapping. How we are going to do the justifications. So proper justification of course outcomes with the assessment must be provided. For internal assessment like teacher assignments and class tests, one can design the assessment based course outcomes. For example, class test 1 is based on CO1 or CO2, the course outcome 1 or course outcome 2, with equal weightage given to both COs, and that is why CO1 and CO2 both mapped with the C1, with mapping factor of 3 for the previous slide. So the what we need to do is like 3 means, see here the 3, the high level. The same for the class test 2, that is C2 or C3 is done. So while in practical examination, if you have practical based on COs and the assessment is available practical wise, then mapping can be done CO wise, or else equal contribution to all the COs can be considered as done here. So mapping factor 3 with all COs, course outcomes. Same for the end semester university exams. If questions are based on the COs and also evaluation is available, um, question wise, so then the COs to be mapped question wise, else equal contribution to all COs can be considered as done here. Mapping factor 3 with all COs. So here the key takeaway from this slide is The target marks are based on the average performance in the last three examinations. If historical data is unavailable, right, then the current examination is average is used. So every assessment method has its own separate target. So using these three examination ensure that fairness, consistency, reliable course outcomes assessment. So thus the target setting is the foundation of this course assessment. So by using the historical performances data and establishing a separate target for an each assessment method, institutions can accurately measure the students' achievement. So make informed decisions for continuous the achievements and make the informed decisions for the continuous academic improvements too. Just a minute. Yes, let me move to the next slide. Is the definition of attainment. So the attainment can be defined as what percentage of students have a above set target marks. Example: if 140 students appeared in an end exam, in semester exam, that is 60 marks, and you have set a target marks as 30. So last three exams average to be considered while deciding the target marks. Then the attainment can be calculated as percentage attainment. That is number of students scoring 30 or above marks, that is out of 140 into 100. Attainment is going to be calculated based on this only. So let's say 104 students scored 30 or above marks, then the percentage attainment would be a percentage attainment, that is 104 divided by 140 into 100, that is 74.28. Therefore, the level of attainments for end exam is 3 as a scale is defined, that is more than 70. So the presentation of this PFDP, this on our webinar, the previous concept from the FDP also. So this says that the attainment measure how successfully students have achieved the expected learning outcome. In a simple term, it is a percentage of students who score the maximum, the predefined target marks, and the target marks is not chosen randomly. It is usually fixed by the department after analyzing the performance of the previous three batches of our examinations. Once the target is decided, so we count how many students have met or exceeded the target. The attainment percentage is calculated using a very simple formula. The formula shows that the number of students scoring the target marks or above divided by the total number of students appeared into 100. So let us take another example here, right? Another example for this one. Um, 1 minute. Let me give one example. So, audience, you please try to answer me. Sorry for asking you questions. For your understanding level only, I'm asking you. If only 70 out of 140 students had achieved the target, what would the attainment percentage be? If I'm repeating, if only 70 out of 140 students had achieved the target, what would be the attainment percentage would be? Can anyone answer? So simple one, 70 by 140 into 100. So obviously it is only 50 percentage. So the key, right? Right? It's simple. Let me move to the next slide. That is assigning a levels 2 assignment methods here. So what we are seeing from the slides, the teacher assignments is 4, the class test is 20, the practical is 25, the external, end semester examination 60. So the average current exams, what we are having the teaching as the teacher assignments 5 we are used to give, right? And
Ma'am, can you please run the slideshow, ma'am?
yeah. Sorry,
It's okay, ma'am.
where it has been. Sorry, Dharni ma'am.
It's okay, ma'am.
Somewhere
It's okay.
went off.
No issues.
Yes, fine. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
So after calculating the attainment percentage, the next step is to assign the attainment level to each assessment components. In this example, we have the different assignment methods. That is um, 5 assignments. The class test 20, practicals 25, end semester exam. So teacher assignments T1 to T5 is there. The class test is C1 to C3, practical examination and the end examination, that is ESE. So for every assessment method, we compare the current examination average with the target average, which is determined from the average performance of the previous 3 examinations. So, based on the number of students achieving the target marks, we calculate the percentage attainment for each assessment. So the attainment level criteria, once the percentage is obtained, so we assign a level according to the predefined scale. Supposed to be the percentage attainment level is scored more than 70, that is HH high, the score is 3. Above 60 percentage the medium, the score is 2. Above 50 low the score is 1. So below 50, the not attained score is 0. Yes. Let have a few more examples here. Let me have a few more examples. The same concept, the teaching and the assignment supposed to be T2 has an attainment of 76.1, right? So it is assigned high value, that is level 3. Okay. Teacher assignment supposed to be T4 has only 55.1, so it falls under low. Therefore, the level 1. The class test C2 has the value, that is the 74.6, more than 70, so that it's being in high level, so level 3. The class test C3 has 61, so that it is assigned in the medium level, so level 2. So practical examination achieved 78% indicates that again high, level 3. And end semester examination ESC recorded 55 percentage, so which corresponds to the level of low, the level 1, right? So what is this important here, what we need to understand here is this attainments levels help us identify the effectiveness of each assessment method. So the components with lower attainment levels indicate area where teaching strategies or assignments designed so the student support may need to be improved, right? So, in our outcome based education, we do not simply report marks, we analyze the performance too. So, assigning the attainment levels and use the results for the continuous quality improvement. So, this data driven approach enables departments to strengthen the teaching and enhance the students' learning outcomes. Suppose if an assessment shows an attainment of 68 percentage. Which level would be assigned here? Can anyone guess? If an assessment shows the attainment of 68 percentage, which level would you assign? Can anyone answer? Known answer only. So 68 means it comes under level 2. Yes. Let me move to the next slide. Course outcome calculations. So now we have assigned the attainment levels for each assessment method. So the next step to calculate the attainment of each course outcomes CO. The step 1 is map assessments to course outcome. So every course outcome is measured using one or more assessment method. They may include teacher assignments, class test, practical, end semester examination. So step 2, so use the attainment levels. HH is 3, MM is 2, LL is 1, NA is 0. So these numerical values are assigned to the corresponding assessments. So now the step 3 is calculate each course outcome. Let us take the CO1 as example. CO1 is assessed through a teacher assignment T1, class test C1, practical, end semester examination. Therefore, the corresponding attainment values are entered in this table. So average of these values gives the overall attainment of C1. Similarly, C2 is evaluated using T1, T4, C1, practical and ESC, end semester exam. Likewise, C3, CO3, course outcome 3, is measured using T2, T3, T5, C2, practical and ESC. So each course outcomes uses only the assessment methods that are mapped to it. So what we need to observe here is notice that every cells should contain some value, either high, low or medium. But some cells contain the value of hyphen. So means what? No attainment. Same. So this simply means that the particular assessment does not evaluate that course outcomes. So only the mapped assessments are considered during the calculations. So the key point what we need to understand from the course outcome calculation is it's not based on one test alone. It is the combined performance across all mapped assessment methods, making the evaluation more accurate and aligned with the principle of outcome-based education. So why do we think use the multiple assessment methods instead of only the end semester examination? Can you guess? Why do we require? Normally in our time we used to write only one exam. So obviously we may have some small class test, but we don't have this many assessments, that is the high level, low level, or the teaching assignments or the class test. These many we don't have. What is the motto here? Means that is a known thing. The continuous assessment, so improvise the reliability. Different assessment methods evaluate the different skills and provide a holistic measurement of students' learning and also reducing the dependency in a single examinations. Okay, so these are all the things we can observe from this slide. So the next step, what we're going to do is the course outcomes is used to, determine the program outcome PO attainment through the CO-PO mapping process. Right. So this slide shows that how the final attainment of each course outcome is calculated by combining both internal and external assessments. So step 1, convert the levels into the numerical points. The attainment levels are converted to numerical across the value of high 3, then MM2, LL1, NA 0. So these level points are shown in the second row of the table, right? And the step 2, what we need to understand is assign the level points to each CO, right? So as we know that the T1, T2, for example, the CO1 CO1 C301.1 is assessed using T1 is 2, C1 is 3. The practical is 3. Okay, that means see from this point is 2, sorry, it went somewhere. Yes, yes, now correct. C301.1, here the T1 level is 2, the C1 is 3, the practical is 3, right? So the remaining assessment are not mapped, so they are assigned 0 only for the calculation process. So the original symbol or replaced with 0 during the competition, so this does not mean here it's a poor performance. It simplify indicates that the assessment is not mapped to the course outcomes. In that way, we should account. Then step 3, calculate the internal assessment. The internal assessment is average of all the map from the internal assessment points. For example, for CO1, T1 is 2, C1 is 3, practical is 3. So the internal calculation is 2 plus 3 plus 3 divided by number of mapped assessments. That is 2 plus 3 plus 3 is 8 divided by number of mapped assessment. Then we got the answer is 1.75. Right? So this value is highlighted in this table as in this red color. So this value is the internal attainment is calculated for every course outcomes here. Next, external attainment. How we are going to do is external attainment level is LL. LL. So therefore the level point is 1. So the next one is the calculate oral attainment. Oral attainment. So we need to go for the internal as 1.75, external as 1. So overall attainment here is 1.75 into zero point 0.4. That means the internal attainment is internal attainment into zero point 0.4 plus external attainment into zero point 0.6. The why? Because that ESC is 60, then internal is 40. In that point of view, therefore 1.75 into zero point 0.4 means internal marks is 40 out of 100. Therefore 0.4. External is 60. Therefore 1 into 0.6. Therefore it says that 1.30. Is this point is clear? See, this is our internal attainment, right? 1.75 into zero point 0.4 external, end exam marks. Okay, so that is calculated based on zero point 0.6. Already we have the mark, the point is 1 into zero point 0.6. So the total is 1.30 here. Likewise here for this C3 0.2, for this the attainment level internal is 1.64 into internal mark is 40 out of 100, so that 0.4. Then the attainment level external is 1 into zero point 0.6. Adding of these two, this 1.67 into 4.4, 1 into zero point 0.6 should be added. Therefore, the total is 1.27. Likewise. So what we need to understand from this slide, so the overall course outcomes calculation attainment is not based on the marks alone. It is weighted combination of continuous internal assessment and the end examination, in semester examination, providing a more comprehensive measure of the student's learning. Yes. Let me move to the next slide. The course outcome calculation explained here. So in the previous slide, we saw the final attainment values. Now let us understand how these values are actually calculated using CO1 as an example. So the first step is to identify the mapped assessments. So for the course outcomes CO1, only the 3 internal assessment components are mapped. So teacher assignments, here is T1 is mapping factor is 2. Right, T1, the mapping factor is 2. Class test is C1, the mapping factor is 3. The practical mapping factor is 3. For all other assessment are not mapped, so they contribute a 0 to this course outcomes. Assigning the level points. So LL is 1, MM is 2, HH is 3. For CO1, the T1 has LL, so the level points is 1. C1 has LL, so the level point is 1. Practical has HH, so the level point is 3. Now we are going to calculate the internal attainment. Outcome means the T1 is calculated based on 2 into 1 is 2. C1 is calculated based on 3 into 1 is 3. Practicals 3 by 3 is 9. So total weight here is 2 plus 3 plus 9. 2 plus 3 plus 9, so that 14 is there. One minute. The attainment level, that is summing of all these factors, that is mapping factor into level points divided by sum of the mapping factor. Okay, so that is what we got, that 1.75. The previous slide has been shown, and this also, here also. For the course C301.1. So attainment level is an external, so this should be multiplied by 3 by 1. So divided by 3, that is 1. So overall attainment shows that 1.30, the calculations. That is 1.75 into 4 plus 1 into 0.6 equal to 1.30. So the what we need to understand from the slide is the mapping factor plays an important role here. So that the assessment methods with a stronger contribution to the course outcomes receive a higher weight. So ensuring that the final attainment truly reflects the importance of each assessment in measuring the outcomes. And we move to the next slide. So the observations here after calculating the internal attainments, external attainments, and overall attainments, we obtain the final attainment value for the 6 course outcomes. That is CO1 is 1.30, CO2 is 1.27, CO3 is 1.67, CO4 is 1.48, CO5 is 1.63. CO6 is 1.50. So based on this institution predefined attainment target, all the 6 course outcomes have been attained. So here the continuous quality improvement is considered. So that is CQI, the continuous quality improvement. So this, it says that the attainment is not an end of the process, it is a beginning of the continuous improvement. So based on the results we can conclude the identify the strong course outcomes and continue the effective teaching practice, recognize the course outcomes with relatively low attainment and analyze the reason, and also implement the corrective actions such as the revision teaching strategy, providing the additional practice session or the tutorial sessions, improving the assessment questions, and offering a remedial classes for the slow learners. So these actions strengthen the teaching learning process in the next academic cycle. So key point what we need to take in from this, the summary is outcome based education is not merely about the calculating the attainment values. Instead, it is about using these results to improve the students' learning, enhance the course delivery, and achieve the continuous quality improvements. Right? Thus, the course outcome attainment provides the measurable evidence of the students' learning by systematically assessing, analyzing, improving the attainment levels. Institutions can ensure that the graduates achieve the desired knowledge, skills, competencies expected from the program. Next, we'll move to this analogy to credit grade system. So it is just a grading system where we define cutoff of marks. Here the cutoff are not or nothing but the target level of attainment which we defined the HH of 3, M of 3, LL of 1, NA of 0. Already we discussed. So it's simply says that It is similar to this one. No? It's similar to the points what we discussed for the outcome-based education. So we use the predefined attainment targets instead of grade cutoff. So how it works in OBE? So instead of looking at an individual student's marks, we look at the percentage of students who achieve the target marks. So based on the percentage, we assign attainment levels more than 70, more than 60, more than 50, less than 50. Right? So the message from this point is the principle is exactly the same. The concept of both the comparison between OBE system and the students grading system. In grading, we classify the students based on marks. In outcome based education, we classify the effectiveness of learning based on the percentage of the students achieving the predefined target. So what this analogy to credit grade system says, no, the attainment is nothing but a grading system for the course outcomes. So instead of grading students individually, we are grading how effectively a course outcome has been achieved in the entire class. Right? Supposed to be if 75 students achieved the target marks. So which attainment level will be assigned for them? Obviously, HH of 3, that is level 3, right? So next, analogy to credit grade systems. So here the students who just gets more than cutoff marks pass the exam but with lower grades. So let's consider this the credit based grading system. A student who scores just above the pass mark is declared as pass. So although the grade may not be very high. Similarly, a student scoring 50 marks may pass with lower grade, or as another student scoring 90 marks earns a higher grade, or both have passed but their levels of achievements are different. Right? So the same principle in OBE, outcome based education. So the same principle applies to outcome based education. If the course outcome achieves an attainment level of 1 or above, we consider that course outcome is attained. Hmm? A higher attainment level simply indicates better achievement. Just a higher grades indicate a better student's performance. So when can the CO not attain? When the CO is not attained here, if the attainment level is below level 1, it means the course outcome has not been attained. At this stage, we should not stop at the numbers. So instead, we perform gap analyze by questioning them. Was the target set too high, or were the students weak in the topic, or was the assessment too difficult? Will the teaching strategies are effective? Right? We have to rectify all these questions. We have to answer all these questions so that we can able to rectify or finding the solution. So based on the gap analysis, the corrective actions are planned. So revising the teaching methodologies also included, conducting a remedial or tutorial classes are included, improving the question designing, providing additional practice problem, modifying the assessment strategy. So this is the essence of the continuous quality improvement, that is CQI, in outcome based education. So, setting the future targets, the attainment results from the current course also help us the planning future courses, so that department can use an attainment data from previous year to set the realistic target levels. So, monitoring the students performing the during the internal assessment, revise targets whenever the necessary based on evidence. This makes the attainment process dynamic, so evidence based and also continuously improving. So, what we need to take from this slide, just a grades measure and individual students' performance. The attainment measures the achievement of the course outcome by entire class. If the attainment target is achieved, course outcome is attained. If not, we identify the gaps, implement corrective actions, and strive for the better attainment in the next cycle. So, outcome based education is not about passing or following a course, it is about measuring learning, and also the identifying the improvement opportunities, continuously enhancing the quality of education. So, that is the true purpose of attaining the process, right? Yes. Let me move to the next slide. The target for level attained and gap analysis. It shows that how institutions compare target with actual performance and take corrective actions. So far we have learned how to calculate course outcomes attainment. The next step is to evaluate whether the expected target has been achieved or not. This is where the gap analysis becomes important here. So, before the semester begins or during the early stages of the semester, the department sets a target attainment level for each course outcome. Yes, the target should be realistic and evidence based. It is usually decided based on the previous year's attainment data, students' performance in earlier batches, and also the performance in the first and second class test. So, in this example, the department has fixed the target attainment level as 2 for all course outcomes, and also they compare the target with actual attainment. Compare the target with actual attainment. After comparing, that is, the assessment is going to be completed, we compare the actual attainment with the target. For example, CO1. The target is 2, actual attainment is 1.30, gap is 70. See, the target for the current exam is 2. Actual attainment level current exam is 1.30. So that 2 minus 1.30 is gap is 0.770. Similarly, for CO3, as the smallest gap as 0.33, indicating better performance. CO2 has the largest gap, that is 2 minus 1.27 is 73, so suggesting that it requires the great attention, right? So the gap is simply the difference between a target attainment minus actual attainment, right? So a smaller gap indicates that the students have come closer to achieving the expected learning outcome. A large gap indicates the improvement is needed. So the performance gap analysis says that numbers alone do not improve learning. So we must identify the reasons behind the gap. So in this example, so we analyze shows that the performance of students in an end examination is not as expected. Possible reasons maybe include students found certain topics difficulty. Now, the examination questions were more challenging. Students required additional practice, more revision, or reinforcement was needed before the final examination. So, these are all the corrective actions we need to do it. So the plan corrective actions says that the once the gap is identified, the corrective measures are planned for the next academic cycles. So possible actions includes that revising the teaching methodology, conducting the additional tutorial or remedial sessions, increasing problem solving practice, also improving the assessment designs, providing the revision classes before the end examinations, monitoring students' progress through more frequent formative assessments. Yes, the key point what we are going to take is the key. So the gap analysis is not an intended to identify the failure. So it is a tool for identifying improvement opportunities. So by comparing the target with actual attainment, faculty can take evidence-based actions to enhance students' learning and improve the course outcomes attainment. If a course outcomes has a gap of 0, what does it indicate? If the, I'm repeating the question, a small question to you, audience. If course outcome has a gap of 0, what does it indicate? What does it mean? the expected learning outcomes has been achieved. That is the answer. Okay. Let me move to the next slide, the program outcome calculations. The program articulations matrix with program outcomes and the PSO. Right? So this is the next concepts we are going to discuss, the program outcomes. So the program outcomes, this slide explains the program outcomes PO calculation process, which is one of the most important component of outcome-based education, commonly known as that is the OBE. So it focuses not only on what they taught, so but also what students are able to demonstrate by the time they complete the program. Therefore, it is essential to measure whether the students have actually achieved the program outcomes or not. So, program outcomes are the graduate attributes that every engineering student is expected to achieve upon completion of degree programs. The outcomes includes the program, engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development of solution, investigation of complex engineering problems, modern tool usages, professional ethics, effective communication, teamwork leadership, lifelong learning. So these outcomes ensure that the graduates possesses not only strong technical knowledge but also the professional skills and ethical values required by industry and the society. So there are two methods we need to follow for this understanding of this program outcomes. The one is 1 minute, yeah, direct method, and another one is indirect method. So both methods complement each other and together provide a complete picture of students' achievement. First, we'll go for this direct method. So the direct method evaluates students based on their actual academic performance. It asks how well all the students demonstrated the expected learning outcomes through the assessments. So since it is uses actual students' marks, it is considered the most objective and reliable method. How the direct attainment calculated? So the calculation is carried out in several steps. The step one is calculate course outcome attainment. Course outcome attainment. The first, the attainment of each course outcome is calculated. So this is done using the student's performance in various assessment components such as internal, assignment, tutorial, laboratory, mini project, university end examinations. For each CO, the percentage of students achieving the target marks is calculated so that the target marks is 60 percentage, total students are 60. So students scoring the above target is 48. So attainment percentage is going to be calculated based on the students scoring above 48 and total number of students into 100. So scored above 48 divided by the total strength is 60, so that we reached 80 percentage. So based on the institutional benchmark, the attainment level is assigned. So after calculating CO attainment, each course outcome is mapped with one or more program outcomes. So the mapping is represented through the course articulation matrix. So the mapping strength is generally 3 high correlation, 2 moderate correlation, 1 low correlation, blank no correlation. If the C3, the CO3 strongly contributes to PO1, the mapping value is 3, right? If CO4 moderately contribute to PO2, the mapping value is 2. This mapping indicates how much each course contributes towards achieving the program outcomes. So, program outcomes calculation depends on the map. The course outcome attainments are then combined to the calculate attainment of each program outcomes. Since several the course contribution of the same program outcomes, all the contributions are considered. So the weighted average of all map course outcomes gives the final direct PO attainment. Just a minute. Advanced direct method says that the direct method is highly preferred because it is based on the measurable academic evidence. So uses the actual student's performance in is an objective, is reliable, can be verified during the accreditation. So clearly indicates that the strength and weakness in the learning process. Next, we'll move to the indirect method. So the indirect method says that evaluates the student's achievement based on the stakeholders' perceptions. So it highly depends on the stakeholders. It answers the question is, do stakeholders feel that the students have achieved the expected graduate attributes, right? As we know that the stakeholders are the graduating students, alumni, employers, internship supervisors, industry experts, or faculty members. All are stakeholders. So the stakeholders complete the structured questionnaires prepared according to the program outcome. So each question corresponding to one or more program outcomes. So the survey uses the 5 point scale. The rating is 5. So meaning is excellent. Or rating is 4. Meaning is very good. 3 good. 2 fair. 1 not satisfactory. So the scales makes the qualitative opinions easy to convert into the quantitative data. So converting the survey data into an attainment. So after collecting all the responses, the ratings are converted into attainment levels using the predefined institutional benchmarks. So for example, level 3 attainment. So achieved when 80% or more responded, giving the rate as 4 or 5. This indicates the excellent stakeholder satisfaction. Supposed to be the achieved when the 70 percentage or more responders given a rating of 4 or 5. This indicates satisfactory achievement with scope for improvement. Level 1 achieved when 60 percentage or more responders give rating of 4 or 5. This represents the minimum acceptable level. So if the percentage falls below 60, the corrective actions become necessary, right? And why are these different weightages used? The most NBA accreditation institutions assign the higher weightages to the direct method or lower weightages to the indirect method. So the common practice is a direct method is 80 percentage and the indirect method is 20 percentage, or a direct method is 90 or indirect method is 10. So this is the reason that the academic performance provides the objective evidence, whereas the stakeholder feedback is based on perceptions and personal experiences. However, the indirect method remains important because it reflects industry expectations and graduate satisfaction. So the final program outcome attainments for both direct and indirect attainments are combined using prescribed weightages to obtain the overall program outcome attainments. For example, if direct PO attainment is 2.8, if indirect PO attainment is 2.5, if the institution uses 80 percentage direct and 20 percentage indirect, then overall is direct 2.8 into 80, that is zero point 0.8, plus 2.5 into this one is indirect, so that 20, so zero point 0.2. The calculation is 2.74 program outcome attainment. So the final value indicates how successfully program has achieved the program outcomes. So program outcomes calculations plans uh, based on the continuous quality improvement. It helps the institution to measure the graduate achievements, identify weak program outcomes, improve the teaching and learning methodology, modify the assessment strategies, revise curriculum whenever it's required, strengthen industry relevance, can able to meet NBR NAC accreditation requirements. So ultimately, it ensures that the graduates are technically competent and professionally prepared. So this program outcomes attainment is evaluated using both direct and indirect methods. So the direct method measures the students' actual academic performance through the course outcomes attainment and the COPO mapping, while indirect method captures the stakeholders' perceptions through the structured survey. By combining these two approaches with appropriate weightages, the institutions obtain a comprehensive, reliable measure of the graduate achievements. So the results are then used for continuous quality improvement, ensuring that the program consistently meet the expectation of students, industry, society, and the accreditation bodies, NBA or NAC. 1 minute. Yes, program outcome attainments. So this is a graphical representation of indirect method here. So the slide presents the program outcomes attainment obtained through the indirect method using a graphical representation. So while the previous slide explained the calculation of indirect attainment, this graph helps us visualize and compare the attainment levels of each program outcomes and program specific outcomes based on the feedback collected from the different stakeholders. So the colors shows that, see, the program outcome attainments in an indirect method for the indirect methods. So the primary objective of this graph is to present the indirect attainment results in simple and easily understandable format. So instead of looking the numerical values in the table, the bar chart allows us to quickly compare the performance of different program outcomes and identify area of strength and those requiring improvements. So this visual representation makes interpretation much easier for faculty members, accreditation teams, and academic administrators. So stakeholder survey represents in this graph shown in this the three colored bars are displayed for each program outcomes. So each color represents the feedback collected from the different stakeholder groups. The stakeholder groups are program exit survey, employer survey, external guide survey. Each stakeholder evaluates the graduates from a different perspectives of providing the comprehensive assessment of program outcome attainment. So the program exit survey says that the first set of bars represent the program exit survey is conducted among final year students before graduation. So students provided feedback on how they confidently they believe they have achieved the expected program outcomes during their academic programs. So they evaluate areas such as the engineering knowledge, problem solving ability, design skills, teamwork, professional ethics, lifelong learning. So this survey reflects the students' own perception of their learning experiences. And next one is an employer survey. The second set of bars represent the employer survey. This feedback is collected from the employers who recruit our graduates. So employers assesses the graduates based on their workplace performance, including of technical competencies, communication skills, teamwork, leadership qualities, professional ethics, ability to solve engineering problems, and adaptability of the new technologies. Employee feedback is particularly valuable because so it reflects the expectation of industry, is it not? What they are expecting from the industry standards and the upgradation of the new technology, all these things are the factors. So it's most important and indicates how well graduates perform in professional environment. So this is also most important. Then third set of bars represent an external guide survey. So the survey is completed by internship supervisors, industrial mentors, and external project guides. So these experts evaluate the students during the internship or industry-based project. So they should analyze about the practical knowledge of their students, project execution, that is the performance, problem solving ability, professional behavior, time management, team collaboration, all these factors. Right, so the graph consisting of the two axes, the horizontal axis and x-axis list the all programs outcomes from PO1 to PO12. Program outcomes 1 to 12 along with the program specific outcomes PSO1 to PSO3. The vertical axis Y represents the attainment level which range from the level 1 to level 3. A taller bar indicates the higher level of attainment, meaning so better achievement of the particular outcome, right? So this is what the graphical representation is, able to form for the three category. Okay. And we'll move to the next, the concept of the program outcome calculation overall. So this slide so represents the program outcomes of 12 and this PSO. So this final step for the OBE assessment process where we evaluate how effectively students have achieved the program outcomes and by considering the both measurable academic performance and the stakeholder feedback. The purpose of this program outcomes attainment, overall percentage, overall PO attainment. The main objective of the combining the direct and indirect method is to obtain the balanced and comprehensive evaluation of program outcome achievements. So the direct method and indirect method, I said. So the direct method reflects the student's actual academic performance through the assessments, while the indirect method reflects the perception of the stakeholders such as students, employers, or industry experts. So, by combining these two methods, so we ensure that the evaluation is evidence based, practice oriented. So, the direct method attainment, the first row, line on the first row, the table shows that, right? The direct method attainment values for each program outcomes PO1 to P12 and the program specific outcomes PSO1 to PSO3. So these values obtained from students' performances based on their internal assessment, university examination, assignments, laboratory experiments, mini projects, seminars, project works. So since these values are based on the actual students' achievements, so they provide the objective evidence of learning, that is PO1 as 2.27, PO1 as 2.27, PO2 as 2.34, PO10, randomly I'm telling, PO10 is 2.40, PO12 is 2.53. So these value indicates the level to which students have achieved each program outcomes through academic assessment, the students' activities. Whereas the case for indirect method lie on the second row of this table. We evaluate based on the feedback collected through the program exit survey, employer survey, external guide survey. Right? The feedback evaluates graduates and aspects the technical competency, communication skills, teamwork or the professional ethics, problem solving ability, practical knowledge, workplace readiness. all these things are the factors from the stakeholder point of view. So these values are perception based on provide the valuable information. So regarding the effectiveness of the program from the stakeholders point of view. Next, weightage assigned. As indicated in the slide, so our institution assigned weightage of 60% of the direct method and 40% of indirect method while calculating final program outcome attainment. Therefore, the direct method receives the higher weightage because it is based on the measurable academic evidence. The indirect method receives a small weightage because it reflects the stakeholder opinions and the perceptions. So this weightages ensures that academic performance remains the primary basis of evaluation while still considering valuable external feedback. So formula for overall PO attainment is, that is, the calculation says that, 1 minute. PO1 is an example. So the direct attainment is 2.27, indirect attainment is 2.20. So applying the formula, so overall PO is 2.27 into zero point 0.6 dot 2.20 into zero point 0.4. So I mean these two should be considered. So these two should be added. Means direct method is 2.27. So 60% weightage we are giving. For indirect method is for PO1 is 2.2. For indirect method we are giving the point as zero point 0.4. Therefore 2.27 should be multiplied by 6, zero point 0.6. That is 60 by 100. So zero point 0.6 plus indirect method 2.2 into 40 by 100, so that 2.2 into zero point 0.4. These two should be added so that the final answer is overall attainment is 2.24. Is this calculation is clear to you all? Likewise, supposed to be for PO3, if you want to calculate it, what we need to do is 2.23 into zero point 0.6 plus indirect method 2.2 into zero point 0.4. So the overall attainment is from the direct and indirect is 2.24. The same answer is coming out. Suppose we'll take some other program outcomes, supposed to be PO9. So this 2.04 should be multiplied by zero point 0.6 within the bracket, the first term of the product. Next term is some term like 1.8 into zero point 0.4. That should be product and then added with the first term. So the answer is 1.94, like that way. Now let us see the assignment, the alignment of, so the analysis of the attainment values, right? After calculating the overall attainment values, faculty members compare them with the target attainment levels established by the department. If program outcomes, meets or exceed the target, it indicates a satisfactory achievement. If the attainment falls below the target, it becomes an area requiring the further the attainment should be low, the further taken care, the things should be taken care and improvise. So this analysis enables the faculty members to identify both strengths and the weakness within the program. So corrective actions already we discussed, like the introducing the additional laboratory experimental, strengthening project-based learning, enhancing industry interactions, or organizing technical workshop. All these factors will support for both direct as well the indirect. That is, direct means only depends on the students. The indirect is stakeholders. So what we are concluding from the slide presents the overall performance program outcome attainment by integrating the both direct and indirect assessment method. So the direct method based on the student's academic performance contributes to 60% of the final score, while the indirect method based on the stakeholders' feedback so contributes the remaining 40%. The weightage average provides the balance and the reliable measure of program outcome achievements. So the resulting attainment values helps the faculty identify the strengths and the improvement area, implement corrective actions, and support continuous quality improvement. This systematic approach ensures the program consistently meets the objective of outcome based education and the quality standards expected by the NBA accreditation. The few points to remember: the outcome calculations cannot be rigid. That is to say, one can have n number of methods to calculate. The outcome calculation cannot be rigid. That is to say, one can have n number of methods to calculate. Only thing to remember: this method should be properly justified. Also, the method described in this presentation is completely based on my understanding. So, I have tried to address all the explanation of calculations with the proper justifications. Also, if someone disagrees with this method, so I'm not for suggesting, but no problem. So anything is fine. Simply, we should understand the calculations, the program outcomes based on this direct method and also in indirect method. I hope you all understand about this program outcome calculations based on the chart prepared. Is Dharni?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, can I share another PPT for an example what we learned so far with this, I mean, curriculum examples? Shall I proceed with for at least 20 minutes more?
Okay, ma'am. It's your wish, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. It will take 2 minutes time, please. Let me stop sharing the slide, then I can able to share the another one.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Please
Okay.
proceed, ma'am.
It's already there. I hope the screen is visible to you. Yes, Dharni ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible, ma'am.
Yeah, is the screen is visible to you, ma'am?
Yeah,
Ma'am,
yes,
it's,
ma'am.
it's visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So now we are going to see that OBC, just a recap of this OBE, what we learned. And this undergraduate program, so I'm going to show you some examples. So From the UG course, I'm going to take the VLSM as an example. So it's my favorite subject. So sorry if I'm wrong for talking more about this one. You can take any one of your subject. It's no problem. For an example, I'm just taking a VLSI. So this undergraduate programs, the engineering programs are required to impart with three category: knowledge, skills, and qualities. So the facilitate the graduates to acquire the characteristics of the good engineer. So based on this, the knowledge refers to theoretical understanding of engineering concepts. So supposed to be the subject VLSI, under which the students should know the MOS transistor operation, the basics, the device performances only. So VLSI most probably it's talk about the only MOS metal oxide semiconductor devices. So through which we can combine both types so that we can form a CMOS CMOS device too. So students should know about that where the mass is going to be and how the mass is going to be operate and where it is going to be fabricated or prepared, the CMOS fabrication process, and also how can we form the inverter, that is CMOS inverter. So how the logic gates are going to support to design this CMOS inverter, and how can we go with the microprocessor through the sequential circuits, all these factors. So the knowledge is the basic here. The assessment based on the knowledge is evaluated through the assignments, class test, the same end examinations. Second part is skills. So skills refers to ability to apply the theoretical knowledge to solve the engineering problems. So in the same example, students should be able to design the CMOS logic gate and draw the transistor level circuits, the perform the layout design, simulate the circuit using any one of tool, that is cadence tool or microwave tool. So analyze the timing and the power consumption. So the assessment says that the skills are evaluated through a laboratory experiments or the mini projects or doing any assignments, and finally the practical examinations. The third category is qualitatives. So the qualities represent the professional attitudes, ethics, teamwork, communication, and also lifelong learning. So these includes the professional ethics, teamwork, problem solving ability, effective communication, time management, leadership, and continuous learning. So from this VLSI subjects, during the VLSI mini projects, students work in a team to design and verify a digital circuit. So this develops the collaboration, responsibility, and also the communication in addition to the technical expertise. So relationship between the knowledge, skill, and the qualities means like the understanding the engineering principles, applying the knowledge to real world problems, so behaving professionally with and ethically. How we are going to behaving professionally and ethically. That is the qualities. So a successful engineer combines all three rather than relying technical knowledge alone. So this course, the knowledge says that understand the basics, the MOS transistor or the CMOS fabrication or the CMOS logic designs, how they are going to make it. The skills here is design and simulate CMOS circuits using some EDA tool, electron design automation tool. Then the quality test, teamwork during the VLSA laboratory, ethical design practice, what are all the flaws we are finding through the tools, if we are lagging somewhere in the coding part, how can we overcome this? So all this design practice is needed, and the project management and the communication. So these three should be combined. So, how this OBE works in this VLSI course here is define the course outcomes based on, defining the course outcome based on the example of the MOS transistor operation, design a CMOS combinational circuit or analyze the low power VLSI techniques, and finally simulate the layout using some tools, cadence tools. And the step two is teach a topic. The faculty deliver the lecture, tutorial, or demonstration and the laboratory experiments. That step 3 is assess students' performance. So assessment tools includes the teacher assignments, class test, laboratory experiments, mini projects, and also in semester examinations. The step 4 is measure CO attainment. So faculty calculate how many students have achieved each course outcomes. Examples: the CO attainment. The CO attainment is there. CO1 maybe 82 percentage, CO2 is 78 percentage, CO3 85, like that way up to CO5. So step 5 is continuous quality improvement, that is CQI. If the CO5, the low par VLSA has lower attainment, the faculty can include additional tutorial sessions, so provide more design examples, conduct revision classes, and introduce the more laboratory exercise, modify the assessment strategy if required. So this continuous improvement cycle is a key features of this OBE. So we can apply the same thing to any kind of subjects for the scaling factor what we discussed so far. So benefits of the outcome based on the education. So the focus on the students learning rather than only teaching, right? So we are involving that. The part of what we learned. So clearly defines the expected learning outcomes, aligns teaching, assessment, and evaluation. So encourages practical application of knowledge, improves the employability and industry readiness, and support NBA or any kind of accreditation requirements, promote continuous quality improvements. So what we are going to take in this part, the OBE, a student-centered approach that emphasizes a measurable learning outcomes. So engineering education develops three essential attributes: knowledge, skills, and qualities. So, in a VLSI design course here, the theoretical concepts, practical design skills, and professional qualities are all developed together here. So, the course outcomes are assessed systematically, and the attainment results are used to improvise the teaching and the learning continuously. Right. So this is what this conclusions from this example. Through this example, the three part is going to be correlate. So the outcome based education ensure that the engineering graduates are not only knowledgeable but also skilled and professionally competent. Using the VLSI design course as an example, the students acquire the theoretical knowledge of learning the basic device studies, practical skills through the laboratory design through the EDA tool, and professional qualities such as teamwork, ethics, and communication by defining the clear course outcomes, assessing them systematically, and using the attainment data for the continuous improvement. So, OBE produces the graduates who are all well prepared to meet the expectations of industry and the society. So, the level of outcomes already we discussed. So, this is an example of this process of OBE. 1 minute. Yes. The process of outcome based education. So, using the VLSI design course as an example. So, here this slide explains the complete overall this outcome based education process. It shows how the educational objectives are translated into the measurable learning outcomes through teaching, assessment, and continuous improvements. The process ensures that the students achieve the desired knowledge, skills, and the professional competencies. First one part is that understanding the OBE process cycle. So that is slide on the left figure. So the process consists of four major stages: the planning, teaching and learning, assessment, and improvement. The step one is the planning. So planning the foundation of outcome-based education. So during the planning, faculty members prepare the PEOs, POs, PSOs, and COs. That means the program education objectives, outcomes, program specific outcomes, course outcomes, and the course syllabus. Lesson plan, assessment plan. Same example, the VLSI, the faculty defines six course outcomes, such as the CO1 supposed to be explain MOS transistor operation, CO2 analyze CMOS inverter characteristics, CO3 design a CMOS combinational circuit, CO4 design a CMOS sequential circuit, CO5 analyze power and delay, CO6 design and simulate the circuit using cadence. So the presentation and explanation what it says now, the planning answer the question what should the students can expect that end of the VLSI design course. So in this um, in this teaching and learning process, um, the planning, the teaching begins with the teaching learning process consisting of the classroom, lectures, tutorials, the laboratory sessions, demonstration mini projects, and so on. Supposed to be the course outcomes 3. The course outcome CO3 is taken as a design a CMOS logic gate. So faculty members should explain that a CMOS, NAND or NOR gates. Then solve the numerical examples. Next, they need to demonstrate the transistor level circuit. And finally, they can go to the cadence tool for the simulator tool or the EDA tool, anything. So in this are all the steps they need to follow here. So first thing is the CO3 they need to satisfy for the design of CMOS logic gate. First thing they need to explain about the basics of the logic gate, either the basics in NAND or NOR logics, how the NAND or NOR logics are going to be combined to form a CMOS. The second concept is the Boolean expression need to be involved. Then they need to give the solvation for the numerical value, other Boolean expression simplification in order to give a reduced area. Next level is the transistor level. So elaborate about how many transistors we need to use it of for defining the small CMOS NAND or NOR logic. Then finally they need to go to the practical side for using of supporting of the tool cadence or any kind of EDA simulator tool. They need to execute the results without any mistakes. Okay, so this is what they need to do. And with that, with the simulation, the results are going to be synthesized. So the number of elements, how many they used, and the logics connectivities, how many they come across. All these things will be calculated. Then finally, it should be given to the foundry side, the designing, the fabrication side. Yes. So these exercise should be followed. Yes. Then the step 3, the assessment. So the assessment measured whether the students have achieved the course outcomes or not. So this assessment tool includes assignments, right? The teacher assignment. Then they may have some quizzes, then class test, or laboratory or the mini projects. So external assessment is known thing that is end semester examination. Supposed to be the assessment CO measured for the assignment is one is CO1, assignment 2 is CO3, class test is CO1 and 2, class 2 is CO3 and 4, practical exam C2 and C4, end exam C1 to C1, CO6. So the presentation, based on this diagram, we have this CO1 to CO6, right? CO1 to CO6. So the attainment is calculated based on this. We reached the CO attainment calculation also for reach for the all the course outcomes from 1 to 6. Classified as 84 percentage, 82 percentage, 78 percentage, 76 percentage, 65 and 90 percentage. So these things are there. So the CO5 has a relatively lower attainment out of this CO1 to CO6. So this indicates the students require the additional support for this low power VLSI because the CO5 mapped with the low power VLSI and delay optimization and the power analysis. So CO5, which one we were there in the from the course outcomes. So we need to capture that the poor performance, the lower attainment. Based on the calculations, we need to identify it. Then step 5, continuous quality improvement, that is CQI. So based on attainment analysis, the faculty so implement the corrective actions. Example supposed to be CO5. Faculty may conduct additional tutorial classes, provide more design examples, increase the laboratory exercises, introduce the industry case studies, and also revise the assignments questions. Right. So these are all the things we need to understand. So let me move to the next slide. The correlation between the COs, POs, PEOs, and the graduate attributes, mission and vision. So the VLSI design course is an example. The slide, the correlation between the COs, POs, PEOs, GAs, mission and vision. The slide indicates that the hierarchical relationship between course outcomes, course programs, program outcomes, the program educational objectives, graduate attributes, the department mission, and the institutional mission. It demonstrates how learning in an individual course contributes to achieving a long term goal of the institution. So it is all interrelated here. The first step says that the course outcome COs for this subject VLSI design CO1 to CO6. The one is explain the MOS transistor operation, CMOS fabrication CO1. CO5 is analyze the power delay and area optimization. The same COs are going to be followed for all. Uh, I mean, Orderly. Explain the MOS transistor operation is CO1. CO2 is analyze the CMOS inverter characteristics. CO3 is design CMOS combinational logic, and CO4 is sequential. CO5 is analyze power and delay area optimization. 6 is design simulate VLSI circuit using EDA tool. Right? So the course outcomes contribute to the program outcomes here is going to be mapped. So the CO1 to CO6 correlate with this PO1 to PO12. So CO1 mapped with PO1, that is engineering knowledge. CO2 mapped with the PO1 and 2, problem analysis. CO3 mapped with PO2 and PO3, so design solution. CO4 mapped with PO3 and PO5, modern tool usages. CO5 mapped with PO2 and PO4, investigation of problems. CO6 mapped with PO5, PO9, PO10. So modern tool, teamwork and communications. So step 3 says that the program outcomes develop graduate attributes. The graduate attributes are the qualities every engineer graduate should possess in the knowledge, problem analysis, design skill, investigations, modern tool usages, ethics, teamwork, lifelong learning. Example, after completing the VLSI course, students develop a strong engineering fundamentals, circuit design skills, proficiency in the tool, EDA tool or cadence tool, a teamwork through the laboratory activities, communication through the project presentation. So it need to be correlate. The fourth step is graduate attributes contribute to the POs. Graduate attributes enable graduates to achieve the program educational objectives within 3 to 5 years after graduation. For example, the PEOs for the EC department. So PEO1 says the graduates will establish successful career in electronics and communication and semiconductor industry. The PEO2 graduates will pursue higher education, research and innovation. PEO3 graduates will demonstrate ethical values, leadership, and lifelong learning. So, VLSI example again it says that the student with strong knowledge, design skills, and EDA tool proficiency may become a VLSI designer, or a ASIC designer, or a physical design engineer, or verification engineer, or pursue ME or MTech or PhD, semiconductor research. Now the final, the PEO support the department mission to satisfy the delivery quality education in electronics and communication engineer, and also promote research and innovations. So students trained in CMOS design, semiconductor technology and the EDA tool directly contribute to the department's mission of producing competent in VLSI professionals. So mission supports in the institution vision is um, to become the globally recognized institution for excellence in engineering education, research, innovations, and societal development. For this also it can meet. If we are strongly or being in high level, so we can reach both vision and mission. So complete correlation using this VLSI design says that the course is VLSI design. It contains the CO12, the course outcomes are CO12, CO6, classified as MAS, CMAS, Logic Design, EDA tools, with the PO0 to PO10, that is engineering knowledge, problem analysis. The PO 0 to 12 is shrinked to up to 10 level, means specifically engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design solution, modern tool usage, or teamwork or communication. Then graduate attributes gives that, I mean, under this we have knowledge, skills, ethics, communication, lifelong learning. Then PEOs, successful career, higher education, research, and leadership. And the department mission is quality education, research, and innovation. Institution vision is global excellence in engineering education. So these are all the things I want to share with you, dear faculty. So I hope you taken a small part from my side. Like I mean, you gained a little bit from my side. What we discussed today about this assessment tools, how we are going to, I mean, calculate, and also the COPO mapping in my end. So hope you all enjoyed and gained little bit. Yes, Dharnesh.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such an informative and engaging session. Your valuable insight on assessment tools and COPO mapping has given us a clear understanding for effective implementation in outcome-based education. We sincerely appreciate your time and expertise. To deliver
Thank
the
you.
vote of thanks, I invite Dr. S. Dharani, Professor of Department of Information Technology.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Dr. Dharani speaking on behalf of our organizing team. It's a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. I would like to thank our speaker, Dr. Jayanti, Professor, Department of ECE, Rajalakshmi Engineering College, for sharing valuable insights and knowledge with us today. Your presence has truly added great value to this event, ma'am. It's my pleasure to thank our Honorable and Dynamic President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar sir, whose unwavering support and encouragement have made events like this possible. I'd also like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, Registrar Dr. C.B. Palnivel sir, Senior Additional Registrar Dr. Kalidas sir, Additional Registrar Dr. V. Cyril Raj sir, our advisor Dr. Mehta sir, and Dean ENT Dr. Etiraj sir for their constant guidance and encouragement, without which this occasion would not have been possible. A special thanks to our beloved HOD and Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. M. Kanyamam, for her incredible guidance and support. I'd like to thank our dear colleagues whose tireless dedication and teamwork really brought this whole event together. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for your active participation and your valuable presence. So, with this, let's wind up the today's webinar. Before signing off, kindly share your valuable feedback. Thank you all. Let me share the feedback link in the comment section.
Shall I leave, Dharni?